Working with organizations today, I realized that um, most of the problems don't happen in the decisions. It happens in like the handoff. Like, you play the telephone game, you tell somebody something, and then by the time you get down to the end, the whole story is different. So you have a powwow with all of the decision makers, and then they're going back and forth and they're arguing and they're doing their little boardroom thing. Then they leave out and it's like, bet, this is what we're about to do. Go tell your subordinates. Yeah, by the time they get to the subordinate, that decision is no longer the thing. It didn't got remixed. Somebody and say, yeah, we supposed to do this, but we're gonna do it like this. Or they came out and they say, here's the orders, or we're supposed to be getting done. We're doing it like this, and then somebody in the subordinate group says, so why are we doing that? And because the person who was in the room really wasn't listening, because they feel like it wasn't their idea anyway, it was like, man, I think it was supposed to be like this. And then you realize like the problem was never what they decided to do. They had all the facts, they had all of the information, they had multiple options, and they voted on this is what we're gonna do from all the facts. And then the handoff from the people in the room to the down level and your subordinates is where it all goes left. Think about this. In football, you have a person up top who's watching the game, right? And they're calling down to deliver the play or deliver what they see or whatever that team's communication level is. When you're signaling the play to the quarterback or whoever knows the play gets delivered properly because the person that's delivering the play from the sideline to the QB is communicating well. Now, some teams will run the play in. Like they'll grab a play like, hey, come here. Hey, you in. Take out such and such and such. And then here's the play. I don't know what happens from the sideline to the huddle where they get out there like, bro, I used to have a teammate who like never knew the plays. Like we can give him a wristband and everything. He'll come on the field. He'll be like, I think coach said, and we'll just run base. Like we'll just run the basic stuff, the old stuff, like game plan out the window. Because when you told the person to go and deliver the play, whatever in they bring, when they were listening to you, they just made it up by the time they got to the thing and you on the sideline looking like, I ain't even call that play. That's how I view organizations. It's like I thought we just had a 4 hour meeting. When when did we say do that? And why is he doing that? When did he become in charge to do? And it's like, well, and yeah, that handoff is where all your problems come from. So to solve that, it's not necessarily making sure everybody's saying it verbatim, but I think before you leave the room, everybody should practice their delivery. Like, what are you gonna say to your people? Like, it's almost like in sales. Like before you leave the office, you like do a pitch out. So everybody have a script. So everybody has to say the same thing. So when you're leaving out the office, for you to even go get in your car, you have to do a pitch out. So they want to hear you give your I did door sales. They want to hear you give your front door. The owner just opened it. What's your pitch? So if you take that and you say before we leave I'm out this room, we ain't gonna ready break. We're gonna what you gonna say to your people? Give me the pitch. And what that does is it forces everybody to listen in the meeting, right? It forces everybody to be on the same page. But then you get to hear how they're going to deliver it. Because even if it's like done in a paraphrase or I'm going to say this word, not this word, you get an idea of what they're going to say and you get a chance to correct it. Because it makes no sense to have a 4 hour meeting, have a plan. We all said, yeah, we in it. And then by the time they go out the door, that we should have just stayed at home. And I think that's what happens a lot of times in organizations because nobody fact checks the delivery. And It's funny when you sit down and you talk about it in a recap, but when it's happening, you're like, man, there's no way these grown people are out here just messing up. And I don't think they messing up. That was the information that they got. So to eliminate that, you have to think about, when did you receive information in your journey, and did you get championed for it, or were you chewed out? And if you got chewed out from getting from executing the on the actual plan, it's probably because you didn't even get the real plan. You got a rendition of it. And when you think about you getting fussed at, I'm doing my job, I'm doing what they told me to do, that might be true, but it's probably not the real plan. And I've seen so many organizations, people get mad at each other, people quit, people use it to get people removed. And I think everybody should leave out the office, leave out the meeting, and you have to get a pitch out. What are you going to deliver to your team? And that'll tell you if they were listening, and if you're about to have a problem on your hands. Because if they can't tell you what was just said, and y'all spend 4 hours together, it's probably best to go ahead and learn that before they spread it across the organization. Because now you got 40 wrong people. Oh, it's gonna be bad, right? So it's just like it's kind of cool, because you get to see that by the time the decision reaches the masses, it has changed so much that the organization can look disorganized, but it's not disorganized. It's just the interpretation and the delivery changed down the elevator.